Okay, it's kind of late in the day, and I'm always trying to do this by day, but or in the daylight, but I had a lot of stuff to do this weekend, and but I want to get started here with my vlog in the new year. It's taken me a while to sort of get back on my feet since getting sick before Christmas. And then just Christmas was just full of like stuff. And but this is something I want to start and be consistent with in the new year. And so welcome to my vlog. It's not a blog. My vlog. I finally found a title for it, and I've made my channel at least have a header for my channel, but it's Rewritten in Color. And I kind of like the title and the name because I'm kind of starting again in sort of not starting again. I've always been creative. I've always been painting or doing something creative, but I spent a long time really focusing on writing and got really burned out, super burned out, and I, okay, I'm back. Just had a technical difficulty. But yeah, Rewritten in Color is the name of my vlog, and it's because I've come to creating painting somewhat late in life. I wouldn't say late in life, midlife, whatever. And I am just diving in, and this year is going to be about kind of learning and focusing and finding a voice, or just I don't even know if it's really finding a voice, just painting, just to paint, getting outside of my comfort zone, getting outside of my studio, which I haven't really done a whole lot of since way back. And much of what I've painted has been like still life, inside studio. I have a day job. It's, kind of just finding these moments. But this week I'm really inspired by, yesterday we went to the Denver Art Museum and saw the Pissarro exhibit. And I was just really inspired on so many levels, and it made me sort of think about this whole idea of rewritten in color and coming to this creativity. And so because creativity has always been a part of my life. My mom is an artist and an art teacher, and so it was really inspiring, the exhibit, because of the painting and just watching. I always love watching sort of the life work of a painter, or like seeing that and seeing the whole process from where they started to kind of where we recognize them. That's always really interesting for me to see and sort of process. And then there's just always like the life story, and I'm a story person. I come from the writing background. I always laugh in my sort of art circles that I don't have an MFA in writing or in art. I have an MFA in writing, so it's like, but I studied writing, but I practice art, and I feel like I'm finding ways to merge them. So I don't think of myself as one thing or another. I just feel like sometimes I'm just doing the one, more of one than the other. And right now it's more of painting and more of, creating visually. But we saw the whole exhibit, and I think something that really touched me was the correspondence that he had with his son. All his children were painters, and it reminded me a lot of my own family with my mom, who's a painter, and the way we talk about art together and share our, the way she's always talked to me, because she's so much more knowledgeable about art and artists and sort of even just the process of painting. And then my daughter also is painting, so it's really this generational thing in our family as well. So that kind of resonated with the exhibit to see these letters of him talking to his son about painting, and then I just made me think of like my mom and the way we talk. And then the other thing, I'm wearing this little pin, the Aspen Ski School pin, that was really interesting was after the exhibit we went and saw a design exhibit and sort of like the origins of different designs. There were a lot of chairs, but in one little corner there was a little sort of retrospective tiny little one of the designer of this little logo here. And this is my dad's from the 60s. He went to Aspen. I live in Colorado now, but he went to Aspen and skied, and I've never skied in Aspen, but he skied in like the 60s, I think before I was born. He was out there skiing and had this, and so somehow I acquired it, and I've had it. I have a little hat full of pins from places I've skied, which was not Aspen. I've never skied in Aspen. And then places like I volunteered for Special Olympics, and I had some pins from the state games for that too. But they're all on my hat, and this one was in there, and I thought that was so interesting to see. It was, I can't remember his name, but it was the guy who sort of came up with this logo design for skiing in Aspen. And so you can see pins that are just this. But I was saying to my partner, I'm like, I think I have a pin with that design on it. And sure enough, it's the Aspen Ski School pin. So I was wearing it today because I do like to wear pins. It's a kind of a thing. And so I was like, I'll just wear this pin. And it's so fun. I think sometimes when, I love to go see these exhibits where you just see these old pieces and you get to like sort of experience the old masters, but then the sort of little side trips and you learn different cool things about things you never thought about or imagined. And Aspen and skiing is such a part of the culture here. So I thought that was really cool. So I don't have a lot today, except that I'm just working on a bunch of stuff. Like I said, I want to just sort of start this year with intention, with painting and just explorative painting, not with so much, I do have to get ready. There is a show I'm doing, which I wasn't planning necessarily to do, a market, but after that I'm just taking a whole break. I've done 2 years of markets, and while it's been fun and I love connecting with people, I just want to come home and paint to paint and just make to make, and not make with this idea of what will people buy or what will, it's like what, and I maybe just get back to that, to carry that into future markets where I just make what I make, and if people like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't. It's whatever. And not just second guessing everything. I just wanted to get back to that this year. It was really fun to like kind of jump in a couple of years ago and just do it to see if I could do it, because I was always one of those I'm like, I want to go to the next art fair or the next art fair, just to go see as sort of somebody who could, was part of like, just experiencing that. But so a couple of years ago I just kind of dove in, and I was like, I'm just going to start doing these. And so anyway, I can just kind of like go over a little bit of what I'm working on. Hopefully I can get into the, like, just kind of as we go along, get into being outside a little more. It's warm here. It isn't typically this warm. So maybe it'll stay warmer a little bit longer, even though I really do want snow and I really do want winter, because I think winter is a wonderful sort of backdrop to play with in sketching and painting. And one of the things I did really observe about Pissarro and his process and the things that he did in this exhibit, which was it was just such a good learning exhibit for me. Even though it's like sometimes I'm like, I just want to paint. I don't want to, but like it was such a good one because there were so many paintings of places that he was at where you would see he would paint the same thing in different seasons or in different times of the year, and just paint that same thing as like and I kind of want to experiment with that as someone who gets very impatient very fast. I can see myself being like, no, I already painted that, I can't paint that. But I want to experience that. I want to experience observation and seeing the differences. And it was really remarkable to see just how different like each season looked in paint, and just how different the mood was, how different the tones and the colors, and just those marks that just brought us in with the trees and the but it was really interesting because some of them were, you know, landscapes were like, because, you know, rural landscapes, which he spent a lot of time living in a rural areas. But then there were these cityscapes as well, where he was in Rouen and Le Havre, which I thought was really cool because I was there at one point a long time ago, and just, you know, getting that sense of really just looking at one spot and just really observing that spot and seeing how beautiful it can be at different times of the year, and how it can change. And I think about the scene I have outside my window, which is our town, and there's a lot going on outside my window, but it's really beautiful, and there's sort of like the hills and the mountains, and I just kind of think, oh, it's just observing that could be a study. So I haven't gotten there. I'm actually doing more of just playing around with still life, just getting back to doing, I'm trying to paint loose and be loose in my brush strokes, which is, you know, I'm just trying to loosen up a little bit, because that's what I like, and that's kind of what I like to see in work, even though I love realist painting because my mother is a realist painter. I just like to, personally, I like to do things like a loose with paint. And so I feel like I'm learning. I've taken a couple tutorials and workshops to try to get there. And then at this point, I am just painting, like doing some still life work over here. You can see my messy area. And yeah, we're just like, I just grabbed some stuff, and then some little stuff, and then some little stuff, and I thought I would just put them in an arrangement. I read, it was, who is the artist whose blog I read, who's kind of just said, place stuff and then name one thing, and then make that sort of force the focal point. So I've just placed stuff, and I was going to name it Tiny Gumball Machine, but I don't know, because I have this very, very tiny, I don't know, you can see it here probably a little bit better. This is like from I have a dollhouse, which one day may be in the vlog, but I have a dollhouse that I built when I was 16. It is not decorated. I want to work on decorating that. But I did like paint the outside and all that stuff. And then I have a couple little items from that dollhouse, which I have up here too on the window ledge, which I have a little ledge full of people. It looks like a little family room with little characters. They're the Windowsill Collective, but this is a tiny gumball machine that is for sure going into that dollhouse. But right now it's going to be in my still life, which I'm kind of working on, and I do need to get. I just want to play. That's more like, you know, that playing that I want to do this year. And then this is this here is a commission I'm working on, my messy little cart, with all kinds of stuff, but this is a commission I hopefully can get done today or this week, because it really is, I'm behind on it. I'm very much behind on it. And then, but I will show you too that I have been working on some of the loose stuff here. Just again, like I took a tutorial, a kind of limited palette tutorial, and I'm just in fact I need to photograph it and put it up on the online forum for that. And so just kind of playing around. It's kind of fun because I've learned about the liner brushes, and how I until I discovered the liner brushes, I thought that lettering and painting was impossible for me, but it doesn't look so impossible there. I feel like I got it okay this time. Usually I'm like a mess, but this one seemed loose and fun. And then I kind of did these are salt and pepper shakers. They're little pheasants. And again, I'm trying to lose a little mixed media here. And here I can do this. Little mixed media. And yeah, so I'm playing around with that. And then, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then I have to get stuff ready for this show, which I have to do in the next few weeks. I have to get that done. And I might be using some clay. I have some air dry clay over here that a friend gave me that I was like, oh, I'll just play with that. I have to paint Skippy. This is Skippy. He's probably going to go in the Windowsill Collective, but I was just having fun with Skippy. And then, yeah, so I have the cool little thing I got to just kind of carry on the inspiration from my little exhibit. I didn't get the exhibit book because it was a little expensive, but I did find this one deeply discounted, and so it's kind of nice. And because I'm excited, I kind of want to get into doing more landscapes around here, because I live in a very beautiful place, and I'm like, why am I not out there painting that beautiful place? So I thought I'd get the landscaped Nature as Muse, and it's different, all kinds of impressionists. And I thought that was a really cool find. Plus I get a discount because I am a member at the museum, which I really like doing, and supporting the museum in that way, because museums are special. I was just talking to my partner about how many exhibits I have seen in my lifetime, which is probably too numerous to count or name, because my mom took me as a kid as well to so many museums. And yeah, so I got this. I'm super excited to start looking at that. I got a bunch of other books, which I will probably just do another book haul vlog and show you all the books I got at some other time. But right now I'm just checking in, saying hi, showing you what I'm doing, and then at some point when I have a sketchbook full, I'll do a sketchbook crawl. Right now I'm very scattered. I mean, I feel like these sketches I'm doing that I showed you are just, I feel like they're sketchbook sketches. They're just not in a sketchbook. So anyway, that's it. I'm here, and I'm just gonna go and actually get some painting done. And yeah, see you soon.